this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to make a slightly more complicated card using the Whorl panel, which is new from the John Next Door collection. And the Whorl panel is a beautiful, almost Art Deco panel, which can be used singly on its own, or it can be repeated, and it has a separate outside line so you can frame it or cut it into panels, put different colours behind. There's so many different options with this. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a repeating pattern. And this is a die that's designed so you don't have to click it back in. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. So what we're going to do is I've got a piece of card here cut to 5.5 by 5.5 inches. And I'm simply going to use the panel die and place it evenly along these three edges. So we've got approximately the same space. I'm just going to tape that die down and we'll run that through and cut that. And what we'll get is this beautiful cut here. So very simple. Again, we could just put colour behind it, we could paper piece it, put strips there, anything we want to. But to repeat it, there's two options. The first one is to click it back in. So we click the die back in, which means that it cuts exactly in the right place. However, what we can also do with this die, because of the way it was designed, is just butt it up against the next panel. So you can see there, we're simply butting it up, and we tape that down and we run that through and we cut that. And when we do that, we get this. So you can see here, I haven't had to butt it up. I've just got this fine line that we've created. And we simply continue doing that. So I take the die again, butt it up against that space, just leave a little even line, tape it down, and we cut that. Don't worry about the design going off because we're going to frame it. So we run that through and cut it, and we get this, a beautiful repeating panel with three of them. And this is quicker than clicking it back in, as we'd have to cut that 4 or 5 times. This time we only have to cut it 3 times. So what we're going to do now is add some different colours behind it. So I'm going to turn the piece over and I'm going to use some spray glue. I use Craft Mount by 3M. And just give it a light spray with glue. Again, you could use glue, you could use tape. And I've cut strips of card, and I've cut these in beige, peach and clotted cream. And I've cut these to 3/4 of an inch, which is just the right amount to fit one of these strips. I've seen here I've got a couple of bits I haven't picked out, so we'll do that. So all I do is take my first strip and pop it over the colour, and so that it covers this central bar. So you can see here there's a central bar. I just want to cover that. So I've gone peach. I'm then going to use a piece of beige and again cover over to that central bar. Take a yellow, cover over, just like this, and then we repeat the colours. So peach, beige and the clotted cream. Really simple. Let's take that little piece out there. Until we've covered all of those gaps. And when we turn that over, you'll see we've got that beautiful colour. I'm just going to trim that off. If there's a few little gaps, don't worry, they won't show up when we pop it onto the card. So I've made a frame here already, and this is just using the John Next Door 6-inch layering die and 5-inch layering dies. I've used the squares, so I'm just going to take off the protective from the foam. I've used 2mm foam just to give me a really nice depth, and this has been made with a clotted cream section in the middle. So we can just nicely frame our piece, just like that. And what I've done is got a larger card, an 8 by 8, and I've put a piece of the clotted cream on the same. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Craft Artist glue to stick this down, so we don't want it to be too deep. But once I pop this on nice and even, you'll see that any little gaps vanish because we've used one of the colours from the background, so you don't have to be too precise with this. And what I'm going to do is just take that back off. I want to make sure that this sticks down, so I'm adding some glue onto there. So we all learn as we're going along. So we just stick that down. We've got that beautiful framed background just from a very, very simple panel. So one die gives us all of that detail. And then all I'm going to do is add some flowers. Again, I've cut these in the marigold. So I've got them cut in the 3 colours we've used. So this is the peach, the beige and the clotted cream, and little silver in the centre. So I've got one little collection of 3 on one side. I've got a smaller section for the other side. Again, all 3 colours. And we could put a sentiment in the middle of that. We could put a little section with a stamped image. There's lots of different things we could put into the centre of that. We've got that beautiful background, and sometimes I like to just show that as it is. So quite quick, or relatively quick, but an easy way to do it, but something that little bit more complicated.